Welcome to another episode of Just Because Live. My name is Chris Nicolason, and I am your host. And today I am honored and delighted to be joined by Delilah Alvarado of what I know her from, of the Cos Foodies Facebook group, which is one of my favorite places to go and check out, both for great food ideas, but also just great visuals of local food here in town. It always gets my mouth watering. So Delilah, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, we are so stoked to have you. So the way I like to do this is I want to talk to you first about your background, where you're from, and how you got to here in Colorado Springs. And so we'll start there. So where are you from?
Okay. Originally born in Red Bluff, California.
Okay.
So we lived out in the middle of nowhere, the country, out in the mountains. In Northern California. Lived there till I was about 10. Then we moved to North Minnesota and lived there until I was a young adult. And then at the ripe age of 23, when I realized I'd made plenty of wonderful mistakes, I decided to join the military.
Okay.
So got that out of my system, joined the Air Force, was in the Air Force active duty until 2016. I'm a reservist now. And my background is medical and military education. So still do that gig more on the medical side of the house, but I'm a reservist. So I also have a full-time occupation as well. I'm an operations director for a really cool tech place called Space Camp. It's awesome. And yeah, just have a lot of fun, kind of living life. So that's my geographical, how I got here to the Springs.
Okay. And so then did you have, and thank you for your service and what you did. So is the Air Force then what led you here to Colorado Springs ultimately?
Yep. Second choice.
Okay.
Yep.
And what was choice number one?
Choice number one was Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Okay.
I'm a Midwest girl, so.
Gotcha. I do have to ask too, because of the spots that you've been in then too. Are you a hockey person as well?
No, I used to watch hockey. I can't skate. Just I can barely walk. So
Okay.
But I used to watch a lot, like especially the Minnesota Wild, but not so much anymore. I don't really watch TV.
Gotcha. Okay. So this will not be an episode where we're talking about food shows.
Okay.
So then based on that, because I think even from our talk yesterday, we know about, like I was telling you that season 6 of Top Chef is one of my favorite episodes of TV ever. And you're like, what's a top? No.
Well, I did know what the show was.
There we go.
I do have a TV now hanging up, but this is the first TV I've had in my home in almost 3 years.
Gotcha. Okay. So then you had mentioned that you're out here, you're a reservist, and then you work at a place with a really cool name called Space Camp. Now, I'm in my mid 40s, so when I was a kid, they had this thing called Space Camp.
Yeah.
Are they related at all?
No. This is about software acquisition for the Department of Defense and contributing contractors.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so really techy, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Kind of like Silicon Valley stuff then.
Yes, kind of.
Gotcha.
But it's beautiful Front Range.
Okay. Absolutely. So now you're here. And then, so can you talk to us then too a little bit about your family? What's your family unit look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 2 little boys, Latham and Atticus. They're 7 and 5. They're brilliant. They're wild. Sometimes they're too wild. They're messy. They're funny. So yeah, they're crazy. But I love them to death. And then their dad actually lives a block down the street from me, which is super awesome. He's
nice.
My best friend. He's just a huge support for all the crazy things that I do. So we really enjoy just parenting together a block away. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he's super amazing. And he's single, by the way, ladies. Anyways, but I'm one of 8 kids. And so I've got family all over Missouri, Louisiana, Florida, Minnesota, one maybe soon in Texas. Not really sure what his plan is yet. But yeah, we're just a big old huge family, and we hang out virtually as much as we can since we can't really geographically quite as much. So yeah.
Interesting. So then how for you then, so this is coming from me too, as a former family attorney, hearing you say what you say about, dad is phenomenal. And it's something that I've got 2 kids of my own and been married for a long time, but to see people go through that, with kiddos, where you guys are putting the kiddos first, it really, that should be celebrated.
I think it was, it could have been really easy to accept what people tell you the process will look like.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be ugly. You're going to talk about finances. Nope. Like you don't actually have to do that. You can make hard decisions, but you can always choose to put love and grace, in front of every conversation. Yeah. You can always choose to do that, no matter how hard it is. And there were hard moments, and there were a lot of sad moments, because I just think he's the most amazing person in the world. Yeah. But always coming to those conversations, with love and grace, I think changed how we chose to, navigate this journey.
Nice. And what I tell a lot of families too that are going through that is there's always these amazing things. There's 2 amazing things that you guys did. You had these 2 amazing kiddos. And so so no matter what happens, where the differences are, you have to step back and look and go, but we did this.
Exactly.
Like, awesome.
Yes.
And so that's really, really cool.
So it's completely meant to be, not every story that's meant to be looks like a fairy tale. Right. But even being told that I couldn't have kids, I mean, I'm like, this is great. This is meant to be. So it's our story. It's not everybody's, but it's our story. Right. And it's filled with a lot of love.
Interesting. So I used to be an elementary school teacher before doing this. And one of the things that I found, even as a teacher myself, is that teaching kiddos are hard. And that especially at times too, I found the girls at those ages are pleasers. Little boys, I found them to be like little bouncy balls in a small little box and just kind of going everywhere all the time. Yeah. And we're laughing because I think you think that could be potentially accurate at times. But how's it been for you then with COVID so far, with the quarantine and the shutdown and teaching virtually with 2 younger kiddos?
Yeah. So it was a little hectic at first. It was, we picked up our kids from school on a Friday. Actually, Ryan picked up the boys and said, guess what? On Monday, we're starting e-learning, and they have baskets filled with stuff. And it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And Ryan is a really successful loan originator. He's got an incredible practice. He stays very busy. I stay very busy, right? I'm doing Space Camp, my full-time job. I'm a reservist. I'm the NCIC for my clinic. So I stay busy even when we're not on drill duty. Right. I'm trying to relaunch my own coaching practice. And it was like, oh my God, what do we do? Right. But I think you and I, we've talked a little bit about personalities in the past. Yep. And so knowing that, okay, I need to draw on, some of these strengths that I have. They may not be the most present strengths in who I am as a person, but they are strengths that I still possess. And so long as I'm very intentional with my time. So it was a lot of organization, and it was a lot of giving ourselves grace as a parent. We weren't on, every show that they were, not show, oh my gosh, class that they were supposed to be on. They tried a ton of homework late. We did the wrong homework sometimes. It was, I'm probably not allowed to cuss on here, but it was a show, right? Gotcha. Show sometimes. And that was okay. It was okay. It just was, and I don't believe in projecting my stress onto my kids. They're only 5 and 7. Yeah. It was like, all right, let's have some more snacks instead. You're going to be late to class, but it's okay. And again, that's where, I am really proud, honestly, to be able to tell people that, Ryan really is my best friend. And so being able for us to get on the phone and be like, oh my God, this sucks. Yeah. So bad. Yes. And so it was really supportive, and it was awesome, but it was hectic. And so that's how COVID started for us. And then we kind of found our own rhythm, and finding your own rhythm means that sometimes you have to be really flexible on what some of your standards for life are. The dishes didn't get done after every single meal. That's okay. Or it ordered out a lot more. We've all seen the memes where it was like COVID, an excuse to eat out 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Which maybe my budget didn't love that, but my heart loved that a lot. We have amazing restaurants here.
Right.
So yeah, it's been a ride, taking it one day at a time. Things are still in flux. Things are in flux with school. One of my kiddos just got put on quarantine today. So now he's not going to school. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful. And I feel very blessed that somehow I've been surrounded by incredibly supportive people between Ryan, Lisa, one of my colleagues, my superintendent, Rosalie. They're just amazing people. And I'm really grateful.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. And I think too, the one great thing, it sounds like you two definitely were a strong team together. And one of those interesting things too, I find, even especially as kiddos get older, even married, not married, what have you, that definitely you can play both sides of each parent to get what you want. So having two people on the same page is key.
Yeah.
This, especially during this time. And you also used another word, which is flexible. Yeah. I talk to our staff all the time, even in business, about, look, I'm telling you now, you've got to be flexible. And it's both, from our day in and day out of what we do, how we're going to function, to how we're going to grow, to all of these different things. So I think even in your own life, you've got to do that, because it's like Bob Dylan said, these times are changing at times, and you got to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think you have to be able to pause the brakes for a second, right? Because I used to tell my students in ALS all the time, it only takes one drip to overflow a pitcher, right? Because you fill yourself up, and then that one drip. But I think we have to be realistic with ourselves, where we will let that one drip be anything. And so you have to pause and say, okay, before I lose my mom brain, whatever we're going to call it, what is the actual impact? And you got to be in a place, a headspace where you can talk yourself down, and not surround yourself with people who just want to get together to vent and validate how awful and how stressful things are.
Right.
Surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you and challenge you to rise above, stress, who are going to, help you assess, okay, is it really that big of a deal? There were a couple times where I was like, oh my God, Atticus, you're not in the classroom. You're supposed to be in your class. He's in kindergarten.
Right.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. If he's a little late because he's playing in the mud, it's going to be fine, know? So yeah, it's just
oh, that's awesome. And then you're touching on some things too. So like love, grace, positivity. So I want to transition now to the Cos Foodies Facebook group, which is where I know you from, and talk about that piece of it. And I want to use that as kind of our introduction or launching point to it. Generally, yesterday, when we were talking before, talking about the idea that, hey, when we go out to eat, we can have two kinds of experiences. Can have a super positive experience, and we're just kind of in the moment with friends and family, or, and just kind of enjoying the food and sharing. But we can also have those other moments where it's like the service is poor, the food just was not cooked right, it was cold, and we can walk out just with pure disdain for the place that we were at. Talk to me about your intention and why the Cos Foodies group.
Okay. Well, the original reason for Cos Foodies was because some of my siblings, Lolita, might have been giving me a hard time about posting about food more than my children.
Okay.
So I wanted to create a false reality where I looked like a wonderful mom who only posts about her kids. And then I had really this secret place to post about food. Okay. So that's the truth. That's the origins. My Facebook life is a lie. But my parents owned two different restaurants at two different times.
Okay.
And I grew up in poverty, right? We had no electricity when I was growing up. We had no running water, but we had such a rich life. I mean, I always tell people all the time, this isn't for everybody, based on what your faith is, but for me and my faith, this is for me. I do believe that God loves me because he blessed me honestly with two angels. My parents are wonderful and amazing people. And so on the outside, we had, poverty, poor, but really,
Sure.
we were really rich. We were very, very rich. But some of those really wonderful moments, happened around the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
In that hour of dinner and being community and being family, whether my mom burnt the tortillas, which she never did, by the way, 'cause she's an amazing cook, or it was the 50th time in a row that we were having beans and tortillas, lots of beans and tortillas. It was good.
Right.
We were being nurtured in so many ways. But also, at the two different times when my parents had restaurants, there were a lot of things that, in today's day and age, you can hop online to YouTube and you can learn about management. You can learn about understanding people. You can learn, within minutes, educating and up-leveling yourself as a leader, as a business owner can happen almost instantaneously if you choose to do those things. And no matter what you do, and no matter how wonderful and how amazing your restaurant is, it takes one person to maybe just be in a bad way. And I totally give people grace. Like, we're in very interesting times, right? And maybe that one drip of water that we talked about in that picture was, their negative experience at a restaurant or a food truck. So I understand where people are coming from. And I also understand that sometimes we take on actions that don't really mirror our true character. If you went into a class and you said, hey, who wants to go and cause a restaurant $20,000 this month in revenue and have about 70 people respond to, one of their poor experiences? Nobody's going to raise their hand and say that they want to do that, right? Because that's not really a mirror of their character.
Right.
However, you can get really caught up in emotion and say, well, I'm just, telling my truth, right?
Yep.
But that truth can be very, very damaging, right? So assessing the risk again. But I think that it is important for people to be able to, really say, hey, I want to go to a place that has a ton of great reviews. I don't want to go to a place that has a ton of negative reviews.
Sure.
Now, in the spirit of not duplicating things, because you don't want to duplicate effort. If somebody else is already doing it, let them do their thing, right? So there are a ton, and I try to explain this to people. There are a ton of platforms for you to go and compare, different people's type of reviews.
Right.
However, for me personally, I am so grateful, beyond words, for those meals that my parents worked for and put on the table, and for those moments of just community and family that we had. And it was a very special moment. And most people will agree with me that there's something to be said for breaking bread together, right?
Absolutely.
And so my page, the Foodies page, isn't about being a local restaurant review. That is not the mission. The mission of the page is to say, share with me some of those special moments, whether they happen in your kitchen or they happen at a restaurant. We're here to just celebrate. We're just creating a little island of celebrating. Right. And you wouldn't believe some of the messages I get in my inbox. I'm like, oh my God, woo, colorful. People are like, you're not being honest. You're not being real. Actually, I am. If we can say that negative things happen and that those are honest and real, then the opposite must also be true.
Right.
Then positive and celebrations are also honest and true. And the Foodies page is about these awesome and honest, happy celebrations. And what I like about it is that it prompts people, I think, from what some people have told me, is that it prompts them to share even more positive things. Like Dan Dreyfus from Pies and Grinders, he did this incredible fundraiser of gift cards. People were buying gift cards and then giving them to him, and then he would raffle them off and putting it out there to the community. Like, hey, what restaurant needs help paying a bill? Just open doors open. Really amazing things. And like Franco from Parafficini's and Sopra, he did Lasagna Love. It was amazing. He gathered other Italian restaurants. And this is when, doors are getting shut every day, right? So this is months back. And they're still using their time, their resources, their folks to donate pans of lasagna, right? Red Gravy was there. Like I said, Parafficini's, I think Roman Villa, a few other restaurants, I can't remember. And we just handed out bags of lasagna to people that were willing to say, show me the lasagna love.
Yes.
And so it's yeah, the honesty and reality, it's got all the colors of life in it. But
Sure.
for the Cos Foodies page, we know that you can go see that everywhere. So we're not interested in duplicating what, Yelp, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, what they've already done. Not,
Sure.
not trying to be them. That's
Right.
not who I am. That's not who the Foodies page is. We're just looking at, this one part, and it's real and it's honest. And I think that it's worth celebrating breaking bread with other people. It's
Perfect.
simple, it's human, and it's lovely.
Excellent. So let's talk for a minute too, because the first time I remember seeing photos of you on the COS Foodies page, you generally have like a sandwich in your mouth, or you've got or other things. So seeing you without food is a little interesting. But what I want to talk for a minute, and I want you and I to kind of take a trip through the city a little bit.
Okay.
And so as we talked previously off air, I'm a giant foodie myself.
Mm-hmm.
I literally last night was watching some stuff on food and looking at my wife, and we were both like salivating. And so I like watching good food being cooked and being enjoyed and eaten. And I think that comes across a lot from from the page. And so I want to kind of start in the not downtown, but in the old Colorado City area. Do you have any spots in old Colorado City that you've been to that you're like, if you're down there, you've just got to try this place? And I've got one that I'll bring up too. So
okay,
you go first.
So for me, food is like music. Sometimes you're just in the mood for something.
Yep.
And in each genre or area or whatever cuisine, it's it can hit like gold, right? Like sometimes you want to listen to Eye of the Tiger, sometimes you want to listen to Britney Spears, and both times is good. But anyways, so old Colorado City. When I'm in old Colorado City, so again, family is really, really, really important to me. You know what? It makes the food taste better, right? Mm-hmm. And so if I'm in old Colorado City and I'm yearning for that family feel, I am going to go see Franco. That's what I'm going to go see. I'm either going to go to Sopra, especially if I'm by myself. I do go out by myself a lot.
Yep.
No shame. Love it. If you see me, come sit down.
Right.
So yeah, Parravicini's or Sopra's, whether I'm having his tagliatelle or he's going to love this. or his cannolis.
Okay.
Huge inside joke. But it's always right. The food is always amazing. I love to see people there. But whether it is actually Franco or it's one of the gals or whomever, like they have a really good way of just making you feel like you're at your friend's house for lunch or dinner. And to me, that is very, very important.
Yeah.
So the food is here for me, and the experience is here. I don't know if you can tell; those are even.
There we go.
So yeah, I always try to go there. I really do love Pizzeria Rustica.
Yep.
Me and my boys, when we go on dates, that's a place that they like to pick a lot, Pizzeria Rustica. Right. So kind of when I'm feeling like all in my mom feelings, that's where I want to go. There's a couple other too. Actually, it's like and Monse's Pupuseria.
Okay, that's my
woman.
that's my place. Like downtown, if I'm or down in old Colorado City, if I'm going to be down there, it is such a. If people have not tried Monse's, like you cannot even really describe it, but it is such a unique experience.
Yeah.
Just cooked with love, just love, and the pupusas are just holy camoly. Like I think prior to Monse's, I'd never had one, and I'm like, where has this thing been my whole life?
Yeah. I think I had them before, probably in like Sacramento or something, because I've got relatives out there, so I'll visit every once in a while. But I looked at my budget one day and I was like, I've spent a lot of money at Monse's. Maybe a little too. I was like, maybe I should learn how to make this myself. All of my food is edible, like you can eat it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always taste, amazing. But it's fine. It's fine, everybody. Yeah. It's fine. But anyway, so I went on this pupuseria kick because I was like, I need to have those every single day of my life.
Right.
It was really fun because the boys cook with me all the time. So yeah, she really inspired me to learn how to make pupusas. But yeah, and she just has an amazing spirit.
Yes.
She seems very grateful. Honestly, I would say that that's probably the best word to describe her. She seems grateful for every person that walks through those doors, and I really like to honor that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we got our Charity says hello.
Hi, Charity.
This is awesome. Hey Charity, thanks for watching.
She is a powerhouse of a woman.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then so next let's go into downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to work downtown for a while, and it was prior to, and I love what downtown's doing right now, and just really exploding some good quality local places. So what would be 2 or 3 spots that you'd recommend to people if you're in downtown Colorado Springs? And I do want to give a disclaimer. If we are not naming you right now, it's not that we're not telling people to go there. It's just the first thing coming to your head. Exactly.
So if I'm thinking about being at work in downtown, I know that this isn't a mill, but it really should be a mill. I do love to go to 1350 Distillery because holy smokes, I could eat and drink their old fashions. They are so good. So good.
Yep.
I do really like to, where else I love going to Red Gravy. We were talking about the Brussels sprouts yesterday.
Yes.
So good. I love Red Gravy. It's, it's beautiful. Their pasta is amazing. Their focaccia bread is so yummy. I have a huge weakness, and I'm a little bit sad about this, but I have a huge weakness for Bonnie and Reed and the Rabbit Hole.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed to say that one week I went to the Rabbit Hole, then Bonnie and Reed, and then the Rabbit Hole, and then throughout the entire week for lunch, I just went between the two.
I think Rabbit Hole, and I think they're opening back up here shortly.
Oh, okay, good. Well, maybe not good because I've been saving money lately.
Hard Rabbit Hole fan. Their drinks are fabulous. Their food is just wonderful, and the whole experience, like going downstairs, is it's great.
Yep, getting the toasted marshmallow white rabbit drink, makes me feel cool.
Right.
So for 3 years in a row, I like to kind of spend my birthday by myself. I'm an extreme extrovert. I love people, but my birthday is my time to just kind of reflect on people who've blessed me and whatever. I like to do it by myself. But for the last 3 years in a row, I've treated myself to, a very nice dinner at the Rabbit Hole. Okay. Actually, some of my friends ended up meeting me at the Rabbit Hole. Actually, last year they ended up just showing up.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of cool. But so the Rabbit Hole kind of holds a special place in my heart. But also Poor Richard's Coffee House. That place holds some really incredible memories for me. They're always so, they're so warm. They're so hospitable. They're beautiful. I love bringing the boys to the bookstore. I've read to them in the back patio. Their hummus pitas I don't even care if you don't like hummus. Go get these pitas. They are amazing and brilliant and so delicious. They used to have John Wiseman and Susan Rissman play there every Thursday night. And I went religiously to hear them sing and play music. And then the coffees were amazing. When I first left active duty and I had opened up my own leadership and team development coaching practice, I needed a place to work that wasn't at home because otherwise I went into mom mode. And I was at Poor Richard's all the time. I mean, all the time. Their coffee is top notch. Maybe sometimes wine for lunch, but who's looking at the time?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I always really loved that, is that, whatever mode I needed to be in, whether it was, relaxed mode with the kids at Keys Pizza or Poor Richard's, it was all just right there, and it was really cool. And I love being in beautiful patios, and they have one of my favorite patios, actually. So those are some of my places downtown. There's so many more, though. I love all of you guys. I'm sorry.
And so I'll walk through a few of mine. And so for me, I mean, we were talking yesterday. So whenever I'm downtown and I just want to grab a quick lunch, one of my favorites to go is Med Cafe. Their gyros there are fabulous. If you're looking for a gyro with the sauce that is just to die for, it's just absolutely delicious. If I'm looking for something a little unique, and when you're talking about great patios, Sugar's, which doesn't necessarily hit still in that downtown-ish, right? Right there on the cusp of that downtown piece. Highly recommend it if you have not been there. They do some great stuff with brie and apple, and it just is lovely.
Yes.
And then we were talking yesterday too um, about the stuff that Brother's doing down at Four. For me, Four is the stuff he's doing at Four is great. They have a tempura jalapeno popper there that I am just absolutely in love with, and it's very unique. It's such a great way to kind of hit something new, and if people are looking for something, those will be a few spots
Do you ever go to Lucky Dumpling?
Been there once only, and it was actually right when they had first opened, and so I have not been back since. So I definitely need to revisit that because I think he's expanded since. I think.
Yeah, I think he bought it was called like the Triple Nickel, and so now there's like the I forget what they're calling it, but like the Lucky Saloon, right? So it's all connected. But I will definitely say so. They're pretty close to where I work downtown, and it's always so nice to have like that consistent, like, if you're taking like visitors, you're coming to look at the organization, right? All that business stuff. Yep. So nice to be able to go to Lucky Dumpling because it's consistently good every single time. Nice. And the other place right next to them, actually, that is always consistently good is El Rey Tacos. And it looks like it's in a little house.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the pork and avocado tacos.
Interesting.
So good. Oh, if you haven't.
Yes, I have not. So
get yourself there. It is so good. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I love going. A lot of us go there often, whenever like some of the developers and designers will go get lunch together if there's not a food truck, which we have food trucks that come to the campus. And even through COVID, Woody's Woodfire Pizza is still showing up on Wednesdays, and so you'll see all of these. And if any of the people I work with hear me say this, I mean this with love, but you see all your techie guys, right? Yeah. And there's just this huge line. I've actually been there twice, and I went up to go order from the truck, and he's like, "I'm sorry, but we're out."
Oh wow.
Yeah, we absolutely love Woody's Woodfire. They're amazing. And they're just really, really great people, and their pizza is bomb. I love it.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna move out from downtown now and just go on the rest of I'll do the rest of the Springs as a whole.
Okay.
So just a couple places then that are kind of unique little gems. Obviously, too, we're talking just
Yeah.
It's local places that people are opening up kind of in the outskirts of the rest of the city.
Yeah. Well, again, like I enjoy food depending on like what mode I'm in, right? So I love to go to church, and I live up north. So going to R&R Cafe, do you know where they are?
No.
They're you gotta go.
Okay.
Wrap sandwich is awesome. But it's called Breakfast on the Pines. But anyways, so it's R&R. It's off of Black Forest Road.
Okay.
And they're small. It's a small little cafe. They have the best coffee candy bacon in the world. So good. Their pastries are amazing. And their breakfast is just like really, really high quality. So it's kind of been a tradition for the boys and I. That's where we go after church. Sometimes I just have to order it to go. That's kind of been the thing lately.
Right.
But with warmer weather, I think we'll be, spending a little bit more time indoors at R&R. And they went through a ton of different transitions, with their business model. But it was really amazing to see there's so many regulars who go to R&R. They have their own coffee cup club, which I've been too embarrassed to ask. Like, can I be a part of the coffee club?
Yeah.
Coffee cup club.
Honor.
I want to have my own coffee cup there. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
I'm going to bring them in and force it upon them. But so yeah, I love to go to R&R, which is up north on Black Forest Road.
Okay.
That's kind of my Sunday tradition with the boys. Like I said, I do go out by myself a lot. And I do love Atmosphere. I know we were geeking out about this a little bit, but Stephen Bailey and the Atmosphere crew.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So that's one of mine. As Atmosphere, I think, is one of my I don't even want to say guilty pleasures, but just pleasures right now. Like the stuff they're doing right there, right now, it's just, I think it's fabulous. The combinations that they're putting together are just great. And that stinking old fashioned at Atmosphere to me, and I'm an old fashioned drinker, and I'm like, that old fashioned, if you have not tried it and are looking for a good old fashioned, it's a smoked cherry old fashioned, and it is awesome.
Yeah. With just a small side of, some duck poutine, some goat cheese, maybe one of the because it is okay to have a 5-course entree meal by yourself. I'm just putting it out there.
Yes.
Sprouts with sauce. I have no shame. I have no shame. I will order 3 to 4 plates at one time.
Yep.
And it's not because I'm this, foodie tester. I'm not that person. I'm just like, no. I'm giving you all the food. So yeah, I like to get my eat on atmosphere.
Yeah, same here.
Up North ones. Walter's 303 up in North.
Uh-huh.
Really, really good. Like their pizza it's amazing. It really is. Where else do I like to go? Oh my gosh, I like to go to so many places. Oh, I love the Brass Tap. They've got great Brussels sprouts too. I'm a Brussels sprout nerd. It's bad. Gotcha. You like to go there. Like that's the kind of place that I like to go to. Like, just hanging out maybe with, some of my reserve friends. And this is kind of a newer thing for me. I used to go, but I don't know. But like recently, I started going to Beast and Brews again. So I don't know what kind of beer you like, but I love stouts and porters, right? Okay. More calories, bring it on.
Yeah.
But it's just such a cool place. Like you can go and sit up on one of the benches and just hang out with your friends and try different spirits, try different brews, or you can sit down and have this incredible, amazing, steak dinner. And it's wonderful. And then this isn't really like a restaurant per se, but have you heard of Taylor Mig? He's with that's actually not his last name. It's like Migliano. I can't say something Italian. I'm half Italian. I should be able to say. But he's with Tradewind Charcuterie, and on accident, I just happened to show up at his house a couple of times when he had all of these meats and cheeses out. And I'm like, hey friend, remember me?
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, he's incredible. Like what he is doing, with his own charcuterie, and I'm not going to say this word right, fromager. I don't know, makes cheese, lots of cheese. Cheesemaker guy. It's really, really cool. So I've been able to partake in some of those classes, which is just awesome. I'm trying to think of some other kind of out there places. Oh God, I hope I don't get it right, or I hope I don't get it wrong. Buffalo Bill's Wings up in Palmer Park.
Okay.
Have you been? Oh my God, that man can cook some macaroni and cheese and wings.
I am a sucker for mac and cheese, so okay.
Do yourself a favor. Tell me thank you later for adding value to your life. No, that place is really good too. Gosh, there's so many. I really do like, going and kind of finding those little gems. Mm-hmm. Parlor.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're looking for just great breakfast.
Yes.
Bacon that is cooked to just die for.
Meaty. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been keeping up on them, so you might have to help me here. I know that they went on pause for a while. Did they ever?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I have to check.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been down that way for a little while. But yeah, there are so many wonderful and amazing places. There really is. I always encourage people, don't just go somewhere because you're hungry. Go somewhere that's going to match your vibe, if you're going to go work out. I love jazz. I love listening to jazz. Motif Jazz Club, they're still closed. One of my favorites though, really one of my favorite places to go. But if I'm going to go work out in the gym, which I don't really do that often anymore. Yeah. But anyways, I'm not going to be listening to Louis Armstrong. Right?
Right.
I'm going to be listening to, Buck Cherry, Inappropriate, or whatever. So yeah, I just tell people if you want to have a really great experience, really take a moment and think about what experience do you want to have.
Yes.
I think we just eat to nourish sometimes, but why not eat to just really have a great experience?
Yes. Yeah, I'll toss in Pig Latin Cucina.
Oh my gosh!
If you're looking for something unique, it's a little different. It's got that, you get your beans and rice still, you know what I mean? But it's got that just twist that they're hitting on there.
It's funny because they what I really like about Pig Latin is I think that they are a risk-taking business. And what I mean by that is they've got loud music.
Oh, totally.
They've got loud music. They've got black walls. They've got graffitis. They've got swing seats on the patio. It's their tone that they're setting for everybody. It is not for everybody. It's not for the people who want to go listen to jazz all the time, right?
Right.
I love jazz. But I love going there. I love that feeling. I know what I'm going to get. And if you, vegetarian or not, if you have not had their mushroom and leek tacos, you're not living life. I love
Right.
my after run. That's what I would like feed myself. I ran half a mile. Must go get tacos.
Well, and I think it's interesting because you can actually contrast their setting with Streetcar 520 setting.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But they have the graffiti or the art up on the wall, which is still really interesting, but completely contrasted.
Yes.
It's really, really different, but it's still super enjoyable.
I love it. I love it because sometimes I want to be, in a place that is high energy and I just, I think that everything, like when you go to eat, for me, like all the things matter. The people matter.
Oh, absolutely.
I've never had, nothing but just very like servant kind of, right? Servant leadership is how I mean that word, by the way. Like they just want to make sure that you have really yummy mushroom and leek tacos, Absolutely. So I love going to Pig Latin. I think that it's so cool. It makes me feel young. It's so cool. It's a place that I like to take people if they're from out of town because it's really kind of one of a kind. That's really neat, and that's something to be celebrated.
Absolutely. All right, Delilah, we're at about 40 minutes right now, so I want to honor your time. Look at that. Time just flies by. And so I'm going to close out with the two questions that I close out with. So my first question is what is your favorite place in Colorado?
My favorite, I thought about this. My favorite place in Colorado is I said I thought about it.
You did.
Answer. It's a dinner table. I'm not gonna lie. Dinner table. If anybody's willing to feed me or eat with me,
I think that's super fitting for this conversation. And then the next one is if you were not I'm not even going to repeat your job title on what you do, but a tech person at Space Camp, what would your dream job be?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm not a tech person. I don't know anything about computers. I'm helping you all out. Okay. Do not ask me about computers because I will break it.
Okay.
Okay. So if I wasn't doing, I do a lot of relationship management and team development, right? If I wasn't doing that, I would relaunch my coaching practice and just help inject as much leadership and team development as I possibly can into organizations. And it's not me saying, hey, I've got the right information for you. All I really do is help people understand that they actually have the strengths and some of the tools that they already need to help their team up level. And I love that. When I was an instructor in the military for Airman Leadership School, it was just the most rewarding experience, and it's all about that person, like helping them discover, not only am I capable, but my story actually lends to my leadership. And I just, it's amazing to watch that transformation happen in people. So that's what I'd be doing.
Perfect. And then Delilah, how can people connect with you?
They can connect with me on the Foodies page. I do my best to get to messages. Or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn too.
Very nice.
Delilah, Alvarado, there's not a lot of us out there. So kind of easy to find, I guess. But yeah. Or if you see me out and about eating, please come join me because I love to eat with people.
Perfect. Well, Delilah, you've survived the interview with Just Because. We appreciate you coming on today. And for everybody else out there, we will see you on our next episode. So I hope everybody has a good day and go on out there and try some of that delicious food out here in the Springs. Thank you so much.